right, guys, welcome to another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Got Brandon Callies here with me. Excellent singer-songwriter. I just kind of stumbled upon you on Instagram, actually, and Nimbus, our co-host, y'all all know, is familiar with you, so said you'd be a dope person to have on, so here we are.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I said thanks.
Absolutely, dude. So I kind of want to just get started. This is like a little icebreaker I do. This is a little segment called Hit or Shit. And you just tell me, I'm going to name a few things. You just tell me if it's a hit or if it's shit for you. It's pretty simple, right?
Can do.
Yeah. All right. So some of them are kind of goofy. Some of them are just like some basic shit. But first thing, like, is it a hit or shit for you keeping drinks in the box in the fridge? You know what I mean? Like a case of beer, you just throw the whole box in there, or do you put them all out?
I'd say shit. I don't ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take them all out.
Yeah, I do too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you go to people's house and they just throw the whole case in there or some shit.
That's lazy.
It's lazy, right? Yeah. I feel the same way. All right. How about getting a brand logo tattoo?
Man, I'm gonna go with shit. I think I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like circumstantial.
Yeah.
You know, because
that's what's hard. That's why it's hard.
You know what I mean? Because like if you like own the brand, I could see you getting it then or something. But like getting like a Nike swoosh on your leg or something,
Yeah.
it's kind of whack, right?
Yeah.
I think so too. All right. How about hit or shit 3D movies?
Hadn't been to one in a while. I'm gonna say hit. I'd like to, dude, because Jason, they did a Friday the 13th in 3D.
That's the most recent one you saw?
Yeah, which is like, what, 90s?
It had to be 2000 something. Like.
No, they did, man, I can't remember which one it was.
One?
There was one in the 90s. I wanted maybe like 5 or 6, I can't remember, and they did it in 3D.
That's cool.
But
All
yeah.
the blood splatter and everything.
Yeah, you can always tell when you're not watching it in 3D because they do these big dramatic things like this, and it's supposed to that's when he jumps out into the theater.
Yeah. But back then you had to wear like those like paper glasses.
Yeah.
You know? They weren't like the nice plastic ones now.
Right.
They give you. All right. So how about a lot of dudes, like little aggro dudes, will like headbutting people. Hit or shit on headbutting people.
Shit. Yeah.
It's an immediate end all be all kind of thing. It's like it's a Hail Mary. You're either gonna knock them out or you're going out.
Yep.
You know? It's one of those type of things. All right. So this is the last one for hit or shit. Having a song as your ringtone.
I don't know. I'm a little indifferent. I'll say hit.
Yeah. It's a hit for me too. I have Metallica is my ringtone right now.
Oh, right on. Well, that's a good choice.
Yeah. All right. So I got one more. Since 4th of July, it was just now a couple days ago. How about fireworks? Hit or shit?
Hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a big waste of money when I think about it. Too much, but it is fun to shoot shit.
That's
right?
me. That's me and my wife. We were kind of looking at it the same way. A buddy of mine was showing us the Rockwall firework display, and I went, "Man, that's like at least $100,000 that just went up in the air." You know what I mean? But
it was Las Colinas. Like half of their fireworks show didn't go off, so they had to shoot them all off yesterday, like during the day.
Oh, well.
Yeah, because it malfunctioned the night before.
That's not what you want. But, I mean, I say that, so it's like we're thinking that same thing, but it doesn't stop me and her from going out and sitting in the driveway and watching other people do it. You know what I mean? So
just blowing up money, man.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, no, I've wasted so much money on fireworks. And then, I always try and save some throughout the year. Then I end up with all this just random shit, like little poppers and sparklers and shit, Kids like to play with it, I guess. So let me just ask you, because I know you play guitar. So when did you start playing guitar? What was your first guitar? How do we get into guitar?
I think it was 13, if I remember right. I'm terrible with years.
Oh, I am too. It's all a blur to me.
Yeah, I remember starting to get into. I was into comic books and comic book cards and stuff, And I remember a buddy of mine. I went over to his house one day, and he was like a friend that we would trade comic book cards, and he was like, "Man, I don't care about comic book cards anymore. Have you listened to White Zombie?"
Really?
Yeah, and it I just remember then kind of going, "Oh, because you're impressionable, you just want to do the things that your friends are doing that you think are cool."
Sure.
And so I started listening to music and kind of got a bit of an obsession going when I was, I'd say like 12 or 13, something like that. And then my parents just begged them for a guitar. And I went down to the guitar store in Greenville, Texas, and the coolest guitar that they had was a Fender Strat.
Oh yeah, classic.
The black, the black and white one.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm a Fender guy. Like I'm a diehard Fender guy.
So I love Fender. Yeah, it's Fender and Gibson all the way for me. It's those two. I love them both. But I begged my parents for that guitar, and it was used and beat up. I mean, that's the only reason it was like remotely affordable at that time.
Yeah.
And so they gave me an ultimatum, and I had saved all year long allowance money, which like $10 a week on allowance, like trying to save up for a guitar is just
a long time.
Brutal. Yeah. So it gets to Christmas, and my parents said, well, you got a choice to make, and this is an integrity thing. You can either spend the money that you've earned on Christmas presents for the family. This is the first year you actually have money.
Okay.
Or you can be selfish and buy the guitar that you want.
What'd you do?
So I bought presents for the family.
Okay.
And in turn, for Christmas, I got a guitar.
That's awesome.
They bought one for me. But the funny thing about it is, and they had the best intentions. This is not a knock on them. So they went out and bought a new guitar that looked just like that.
Okay.
But it was a PV Predator.
Yeah.
You remember those things?
Yeah.
It looked just like the Strat.
Mm-hmm.
Black paint with a white pick guard. But it was a PV Predator. So they thought they were killing it, like getting a new guitar. So that was my first guitar.
Yeah, dude. Same story with me, kind of. My mom bought me like a guitar from Target, I think, and just thought it was the coolest shit ever. But it was like a little cheap $50 piece of shit, But,
Yep.
But that's what I started playing on. Was that well, no, actually, it was an acoustic. I started playing on an acoustic first, and then went to the electric guitar. What kind of genre are you playing when you? What made you get into it, really?
Man, I was just listening to like, I'm a product of the '90s, so it's like all the grunge and grunge punk and like heavy.
How old are you?
Metal stuff. 40.
Oh, okay, I'm 32.
Yeah.
Right behind you.
So like, just all that kind of stuff. It was just like a big mixing pot of that. I mean, when I first got a guitar, I wanted to play Metallica. I'm pretty sure the first guitar or the song I was trying to learn was like a Metallica song.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the reason.
Yeah, dude. I always just remember like Metallica songs. I always just like kind of gravitated to those. Like the playing style was just easy for me. Like the thrash of it was just fun to play. Like, and then you can pick up an acoustic and play songs like Nothing Else Matters, or So they got a wide variety of shit to just kind of pick and pull from.
Yep. Pretty sure I took lessons for about a month before I bailed on them, and I think that I took the instructor, Master of Puppets, I think, and he went, well, let's start with something else, and Nothing Else Matters was the thing that he was like, hey, this is actually doable.
Yeah, with open chords at the beginning.
Yep.
Open strings, rather. Yeah. I still, to this day, like when I warm up, I'll play like the Master of Puppets, like the first solo, the clean solo part. That's just my warm up. Like, just get my fingers ready, But it's, I don't know. Like, I saw a video of James Hetfield the other day, and he just looked run down, dude. Like, he looks so beat down. And
really,
dude? Like, it's getting sad.
Man, I think he's looking better than he.
You think so, dude?
Yeah,
no, he's all old and wrinkly, dude. I looked at him and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. He's got some droopiness going on in the
60, face. 65.
Yeah.
Up there, dude. Like, they were in their 20s when they were thrashing around,
Yeah. I would, but sounding a lot better than they had been. There was just sort of a period. And that band, no matter what they put out, I'm going to be interested in it.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? And freak out on it. But, there are obviously periods that are, like, not as good. And I feel like they're, and especially him, there's something about the new album. I don't know if you've heard it.
I've heard a couple songs, not much of it.
He's sounding better than he has in a while, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna. Oh man, the video I saw of him, he was like, just like trying to gather himself before the show, I guess.
I saw that
And
one.
He just looks stressed, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he's like sitting there praying to the side. Like he just looks stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know this last year was, from what I understand and heard, it was pretty rough on him.
Was
Went
it?
through like a divorce and all that kind of
Oh, I didn't know
stuff.
that.
And
Okay.
but then on top of that, and again, this is all like little things that I saw here and there, but had sort of, I don't want to say a mental break or whatever, but kind of had this thing on stage where he was starting to be like, am I too old for this? You know what I mean? And like, but anyways.
Do you think he'll get to that point though?
Maybe,
What do you
because
think? Like, do you think Kirk and all them are just like, nah, we're too old for this. Let's hang it up, guys.
I don't think they are. I think Lars Ulrich, I've heard him say many times. I saw them at ACL in Austin, and
That's awesome.
I remember him at the end of the set being like, Metallica's just getting started. I'm
Come
like,
on,
no,
dude.
you're not. No, you're not. And
You're all in your 50s and 60s.
yeah, but James Hetfield, he's really the only person in that band that I've really paid attention to and cared about, because it's just like a lion of a dude, and also seems like the most level-headed out of all of them. And I think that's what I kind of like dig.
You think so?
I think
Have
so.
you seen Some Kind of Monster?
Being a
The
complete
documentary?
dick.
You're really helping matters. You're really good at that. I was straight up with you and I told you I'm in a shit mood, and what have you been doing? Fucking picking at me all night.
Come on, guys. We got better things to do.
Yeah, and I mean that's a rough period.
Yeah, I
But I
guess
mean,
you're
for
right.
the
I
most
guess you're
part,
right.
he's like pretty reserved and like not like
I would think that about Kirk more than James, because Kirk just kind of goes with the flow. Seems
He's a
like
surfer.
he's just like, hey man, I'm here to just play guitar. Like I'm not here with all that bullshit. Y'all go argue.
he's all zen.
Yeah, surfer dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for the whiskey.
Yeah.
Do you ever get like stage fright anymore?
I think it's like sort of the reverse, where if there's a really good crowd or big crowd that we're playing in front of, not at all. It's but if it's smaller.
Same, dude. I'm the same way. The bigger crowds I feel better in front of, and just because I feel like there's more anonymity, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you're just in a sea of people, and not everyone's looking at you all at once, and
Yeah.
but when you're there with 10 people, everyone's looking at you, all eyes on you, and it's
Yeah.
just that's nerve-wracking to me.
Yeah. In the bigger rooms, you can't see anybody. It feels
Right,
like
right.
So yeah, I just yeah, it's sort of the opposite. It's just there have
I
been
think-
shows where we've played to bartenders, and that's
Yeah.
just the absolute worst. Like.
Those though, man, I have so much respect for those dudes that put the show on, regardless. Like, fuck it, get up there
Yep.
and do your song.
Yep.
Who cares who's listening? That bartender might listen and refer you to somebody else, or I mean, it's
Yep,
you never
it
know who's
happens.
listening, man. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about like the Austin music scene compared to like Dallas local, like Rockwall kind of area, DFW, I'd say?
It's weird. I think just like coming back, there seems to be more like fervor with people are more into it and they appreciate it more here. I feel like, and when I was living in Austin, we were coming back to Dallas a lot, and really playing better shows in Dallas, and I just think there was a bit more of an appreciation. Austin just isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
There are pockets that are still really, really cool in Austin. But I mean, overall, it's really difficult to kind of get above all the sort of noise,
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, there's great things there's awesome bands in Austin, just like there's awesome bands in Dallas. It just seems like, I think in Dallas, the big difference is that people are more willing to kind of team up and go, hey, let's do shows with all our buddies and let's help each other out. And I never really got that,
I think in Austin, it's just so damn cutthroat there.
Yeah.
You're competing with a lot of people.
Yep.
In Dallas, I mean, there are people out there really pursuing shit out there, but it's kind of the same people going, I mean, it's not a whole lot of people. Like in Austin, I feel like it's just this huge scene where people like travel to come to 6th Street and
Yep.
like, perform there, to gain an audience or whatever it may be. But in Dallas, it doesn't seem like people are flooding into Dallas to come like put on a show, you know.
Yep.
Local like smaller artists, of course, they come to like American Airlines and shit. But I don't see that with like local people really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely not going to move to Dallas to be like, we're going to make a name for ourselves.
You got to leave, right?
Yeah.
You have to. I mean,
And
everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I sort of thought that was part of what spurred me into moving, you know, was a part of it, you know, what made me get out. Because I'm from Greenville.
Okay.
You know, so I thought it makes more sense to go to Austin and try to make a go of it there.
Why'd you end up coming back?
COVID, man.
Really?
It shut down
Oh my
everything,
God, that
every bit of
sucks.
income. I was doing music, and of course, all that done. So all that money was sucked up. I also do artwork for like
Okay.
musicians, like freelance art. So I do album art and poster art and all that kind of
Awesome.
stuff, and do some of that for some labels and all that kind of stuff. But if bands aren't making money, then the artists that are drawing for them are not making money either.
Makes sense.
And then a job layoff. I mean, it was all within, you know, 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Just bam, bam, bam. All that was all gone. But, you know, fortunately, it just happened at this right time where I was seeing this girl that was living in Roy City who I'd known for, you know, 15 years, something like that.
Okay.
And so I'd been driving back and forth to come see her. And then, I mean, that was for a year. And then COVID shut everything down. I didn't have any more money, so I went, I'm going to go to Roy City.
There you go.
So that's how I'm here.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man, I think I don't know, just me. I think I've been in Dallas too long. I think I'd rather live in Austin at this point.
Yeah.
I've just been here forever.
I thought I'd die there, man, if I'm being honest. I did love it. I do love it. I was just there this past weekend.
I didn't want to cut you off. Have you checked out Joe Rogan's comedy club out there?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, dude, I've been hearing so much good things about it. I've been wanting to check that out.
So what's
It's right there on 6th Street.
Okay. Do you know the name? Do you know the name of it? I can't.
Comedy MotherShip.
Okay. Is it? It's fairly new then, right?
Yeah, it's like brand new.
Okay.
Like within the last 4 months or so. Yeah.
Yeah. The only one I ever went to was Cap City Comedy. That's the only comedy
I've been
club.
there. I don't know that one. I don't know. I just
Pretty
thought
rad.
that,
I don't even know if it's still there. It's
Right.
like everything feels like it's like a rotating door. You know what I mean? Something closes down, pops up. You know.
the only thing that's been that I can think of really is Antones. It's been there forever.
Yeah, and even it's not in the same location.
I didn't know that. They
Yeah.
moved?
Mm-hmm. They had
They're not there on 6th Street anymore, or did they?
They had the one location that had been there forever. It shut down. They moved it somewhere else, and then that one shut down. And then they moved off of 5th Street.
Okay.
So it's still, you know, it's downtown. You know, it looks a little bit different. It's still awesome. And from what I understand, I think Gary Clark Jr. helped to reopen
Dude, he
it.
kind of revitalized like blues guitar and like
Totally.
that whole fucking scene, dude. Like,
And it's cool that he's from Austin because Austin used to be so known for that, you know, like that
Stevie Ray,
blues.
dude.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And so it's kind of cool that that's
oh yeah,
what caught
I'm
fire.
a huge fan of Gary Clark, dude. He's exactly what I feel like we needed in the blues scene, you know. Because I started playing guitar like blues, like I'm hardcore like blues. That's what I started playing, dude. So when I saw him coming up, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! This is what we've been needing. Like
Yeah.
someone with some blues licks, you know."
Yep.
I love it. And he's like his tone, the fucking. I think he plays like a yellow SG.
Yeah.
It's so sick, dude. Like, he's just got so much style. I love that dude.
I got to see him. I saw him once with Tom Petty, and it was months before Tom Petty died.
Oh, no
at
way.
the Frank Irwin Center in Austin. So that was a pretty memorable show.
Hell yeah. I never got to see Tom Petty, but I remember when, dude, it seemed like there was like a couple years there where it was just like Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, Tom Petty, just one after the other. Just I felt like music was just dying. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, man. I can't remember what year that was, but it was like back to back.
Yeah, it was like 17, 18, something like that. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm horrible with years.
Yeah,
It's all a
same.
blur. Let me ask you like a musical question. Is it like, when you have like an idea or like a musical thought, do you struggle to kind of bring that into reality, or to like you hear a tune in your head, you struggle to kind of get that out on the guitar, or like a melody in a song, or is it just come kind of naturally for you?
Now it comes way more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I think it used to, but I've kind of I'm just used to. It's very rare that I sit down. And it has happened where I just go, I'm gonna write something right now. I mean, usually it's like I'm doing something, and something will pop in my head, and then I can just kind of chase it. And then it's like a stream of conscious thing, and I'd say that's 90% of it. And it's just gotten a lot easier when you sort of come into your own and you know how you write and
Sure.
are comfortable with it. But it didn't used to be that easy.
No, dude, I'm a good guitar player, but I'm a horrible songwriter. I need like a drummer with me, or like someone else in the room with me to just kind of bounce ideas off, and like I just need a little push to get started, and then we're off, But like you said, I don't ever sit down with the intention of like I'm gonna write a song, And just it's more like just free flow, and then you're like, oh, let me see where this goes.
Yeah. See, that's the first thing that I can remember thinking was really cool was, seeing, and I tell people all the time, I saw the Smashing Pumpkins Bullet with Butterfly Wings music video when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that music video?
Not lately. No, you have to remind me.
They're like in this like dingy dirt pit basically with all these people, and they're playing in the middle of it, and it's just like the grittiest thing in the world, right? And I saw that music video, and I was like, it was gross, and Billy Corgan couldn't sing all that well, and I was like, well, man, that's kind of cool. It's cool though, and it made me want to do that. And so I think I realized early on that my sort of end game was to learn guitar enough to be able to write songs, where a lot of people learn guitar because they want to be, like be able to shred.
I think that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to play well.
Yeah.
I wasn't really trying to be a songwriter, But if you want to start a band or you need a guitar player, holler.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sitting here like pursuing like a songwriting career,
Yeah. See, and
Kind of like a hired gun kind of thing,
Yeah. I always liked the idea of being somebody who could sing and play guitar. And so I think,
Shit's
it's
hard, dude.
yeah, but it's also why I can't shred. I wish I could do that. You know what I mean?
I can't, dude. It's like that patting your stomach and head at the same, or rubbing your, you know what I'm talking about? Like it's right brain, left brain shit. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's like playing the drums. I can't do that shit either. I can play to the beat, but not the beat.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. I'm just weird like that, I guess. What else do I got here? Oh, what's your plans for the future as far as like the band and everything? What do y'all have any album coming out soon, or?
No, we're in the middle of recording. We did an album over COVID. That was like kind of a big, giant project.
Mm-hmm. Had plenty of time to do it, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, we started the whole thing and finished the recording, and we finished it, I want to say right before COVID hit, or like right after. And so we just kind of went, well, what are we going to do with this? And at the time, the band's on hand-drawn records, and so, we knew it was going to come out on vinyl, but it was, probably just going to come out in just like a jacket, Mm-hmm. But then I had all this time, and I didn't want to just like release the album to know, like, what are you going to do? You can't do like release parties and stuff like that.
Right.
And so the packaging just got more extended. I started doing like, okay, well, let's do a gatefold. I'll draw the back cover. And then I started drawing images for each one of the songs. And so it was just this huge undertaking. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'll ever work that hard on a record ever again. And I think it made it to where like I started, kind of slow boating the next batch of songs.
Because you're working on this. You
Yeah.
can't do both at the same time. You're doing the whole production company while writing the music and performing it. Like you're doing it all, man.
Yeah. And so I did start on it, and we've recorded one of them, and it's being mastered right now. So it's that'll go out as soon as it's done mastering and hits distribution, all that stuff. Then we'll get it out, and then I think we'll sort of slowly do it like that. Put out a few songs while we're recording the record and then figure out the date.
Where do y'all record at?
There's a place called Sunland Sound, and it's off of 635. It's in Dallas, and a guy named Michael Smith runs it, and he is just a stone cold badass.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work with him, but before that, the last record was recorded in Dripping Springs, which is near Austin, at a place called Audio Styles. And Taylor Tatch was the engineer on that, and that guy's just also insane to work with. So I've kind of been lucky with these people that
Yeah, you got to have a good engineer, man.
for sure.
Got to.
Yeah, it shapes it, and it's like, and it's not even just like the button pusher thing. It's like the overall attitude in the room, and you know, I'm lucky to be able to work with these guys that are multi-instrumentalists. So both of these engineers that I was talking about are able to, if I get stuck on something, you know, like I don't know, because I'll come in for the most part with a skeleton of a song, and then we'll start layering things. So I'll usually bring the band in, and most of the time we don't work these songs up. They hear them for the first time in the studio most of the time,
Oh, okay.
and then we start building.
Yeah.
Because I like a knee-jerk reaction from people, because typically when people start kind of like overthinking things, it doesn't sound as good. And so I think I like people, whatever their first instinct is usually the best one.
I think so too, man.
And usually that first or second take is usually where it's at.
Yeah. No, music is super situational like that. I feel like if you sit there and like try and perfect shit too long, it gets muddy.
Yep.
And you're not giving it that organic feel that it had at the beginning, you know. And I've fucking ruined like takes before, just like, no, let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. And, dude, the first one was fine.
Yep.
You know, just chill out.
Yep. And I mean, so we bring in the band, and it's also cool because all of them play other things too. So it's like, you know, everybody can play bass and guitar, and a few of us can play drums, and, you know, all of us can sing in the band. So it's like we're able to stack all that, but then on top of that, having an engineer who's just also amazing, that if we're getting hung up on something, he's been sitting back there the entire time going, well, what about this thing? You know, so.
It's like the fifth Beatle, right?
Exactly.
What was his name? George Martin or some shit?
Yeah, I think so. I'm drawing a blank now that you're asking
I don't
me.
remember his name, but yeah, it's like the fifth Beatle, you know. You got to have that guy in the room with you, kind of putting his input, and just not driving the boat, but kind of directing it a little bit, I guess, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. What about your music videos? Who's doing that for you?
Just kind of a whole mix-up of folks.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Chris Bolin out of Austin who did, I want to say a couple of them, but most recently a guy named Matt Dunn. Who's
local people around here?
Yeah, so when I was living in Austin, it was all people out of Austin. And then one of the last ones that I did, I think I was still living in Austin when I came in and shot one with this other guy. And really loved his style, and so, you know, I've just been using him, and probably will.
No, I like your
continue
videos.
to.
I was watching that one with like the Star Wars credits intro.
That's the Chris Bowman.
That was a cool one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, we had struggled with how we were going to do the intro, and we had sort of had these staged scenes that we were going to do, and none of them were working. And the guitar player said, why don't you just like explain the story with, you know, words at the front of the thing?
It works.
And it worked. Yeah, it worked great.
I thought it was clever. I dig Star Wars, so
Yeah.
win-win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hits that nostalgia button in your brain too, you know.
Exactly. So this is a question I kind of ask like everybody that comes on. It's just more of a, I guess, a personal question, I guess, if you want, however you want to answer it, really. But how do you experience time overall?
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Does it? Because, you know, like, I guess for me, sometimes it seems like it's just flying, and then other days it's just slow.
Yeah.
And then, but when I think about time on like a grand aspect of it, I feel like I'm like 18 in my head. You know, like I'm not really like, I don't feel like time's really moving all like on a grand aspect, but when in the moment in the day, some days it's fast and it's slow. But I mean, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. I also think that's a musician or just a creative person thing, you know, because there's sort of, I think with all of us, a bit of a mental stunting, if you will, because just with creative people, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure, you hit a
I
rut
think,
or something.
well, I mean, well, I think it just sort of keeps you young, is what I'm
Okay.
getting at. You know, having, I think when you really lose all semblance of youth is when you stop being passionate about things. And I think creative people, typically that doesn't happen because they always have, that's an overriding thing that's in your bones, is
Yeah.
that sort of creative thing. And I think that's the thing that sort of keeps you having sort of a youthful exuberance. You know what I mean?
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, my great grandpa was in polka bands, and he was playing in polka bands until he was in his mid 90s and like dancing and driving fast, you know? So,
Living the life.
yeah. But I think it's maybe the creative brain that, you know, yeah, because I'm the same way. I still like, until I look in a mirror, you know what I mean? Like I still sort of, I can relate to that, you know, early 20s guy.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I feel the same way, dude. I mean, I'm not as far as you, but like in my head, it's just like obviously I'm mature and stuff, but like I feel like I reached like a point in like I guess brain capacity. I don't know, and it just didn't really age past there. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, you feel yourself like kind of aging and like developing and like learning things. You know, and then you reach this point where it's just like, oh well, I guess we're here now. You know?
Yeah.
It's just weird to think about.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I love asking people that question though, because I get just wild answers, and some people are like, "Well, I don't even believe in time." And I'm like, well, "What do you mean, dude? My life is controlled by time. What do
Yeah.
you mean?"
Hey, that's cool. If people don't believe in time, then they're not going to die.
I mean, it's not real, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, it's not really real.
Yeah. It's a description for a thing that you can't really describe,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, we just made it to get through life and make an understanding of things. You know, an understanding of time passing. You had to make a clock for it, I guess.
Yep.
Anyway.
How else are people going to know when they're getting off work? You know?
Yeah. Right. What are some of your last thoughts before you go to sleep? You thinking about a song? Thinking about your day?
Yeah. I mean, again, that's kind of all over the map, you know. Whatever movie I just watched or book I read or, song. I mean, I would say it's typically not music because that shit will keep me up. Like if there's like a thought not fleshed out, you know, with music, I can't go to
I
sleep.
feel like it's just floating there and
Yeah.
bothering you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, I'm the guy that I stay up until I really can't anymore. So by the time I go to bed, it bugs the shit out of my wife because I'm just like, bam.
I'm the same way,
Out.
dude. Yeah, I'm out in minutes.
Yeah.
If that, 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. I just go until I'm burnt out. And
Yeah. So it's usually something brainless. I'm watching something or I'm on YouTube and it just,
zonk out.
yeah. I'm thinking about whatever that last thing I'm looking at on YouTube is, which is usually something dumb.
Yeah, right. What's this is just a random thing I thought of. What's the last thing you bought at Guitar Center?
The last thing at Guitar Center. Man, I think strings.
Yeah, always,
Pretty sure.
right? I'm always in there getting strings.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll
because
go
I
in
just,
there just to play a guitar and end up buying strings.
yeah. I don't go there so much anymore because it kind of drives me nuts a little bit.
Dude, I hate when I walk in there and you just get swarmed. Hey, you need any help?
Yeah.
Hey, can you need anything? Hey, you want to look at anything?
Yeah.
Dude, just fuck off. Like,
It's because they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
They all need that commission, you know? Yeah, it's brutal. Even when I was a kid, like, I remember when I was, like, first getting into guitars and stuff and, like, being able to go look and all, it was awesome. But even as a kid, it still drove me nuts, those dudes that would just, like, crank amps and sit there and,
dude. So,
you know?
like, I'm a guitar player, right? I've been playing guitar for fucking over a decade, you know? And, like, I hate those dudes that are just loud for no reason. We all know we can go to 11.
Yep.
We all know it. You don't have to, man. We can all hear you. You're right by the amp. You don't need to crank that half stack all the way up, dude.
Yeah.
I hate that shit, man. I was in a metal band in like high school, and my other guitar player, he was that dude. Had to be on 11 all the time. And I was just like, Chris, like, you're driving me fucking crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm on like 3 right now. Turn down, please. Like, I can't even hear my guitar.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. So when I go to GuitarCenter and I see that, I'm like, dude.
It's like, but it was, I think, like, at least when I was younger, and I'm just like, I'm showing my age, I feel like that's the way that people sort of like got attention and almost auditioned for bands. Because
Sure.
it's like some dudes over there
Sure.
just shredding, and that's when everybody in the room goes, oh, that guy's real good. You know what I mean?
I always see those like on the little bulletin board in the back by the bathrooms. They'll have like band looking for guitar player or some shit like that. And I guess that's how they do it now.
Yeah.
How do you go about finding people for your band?
I've really lucked out. I wrap myself up in the community in Austin and in Dallas, you know, so I've got a really good network of people that are really good players. And so,
You just met them over the years and doing your thing? Or?
yeah. So I just am lucky, you know, I think, where I've been surrounded by these really good players that are willing to support the things that I'm doing, and yeah.
That's awesome, dude, man. I think some of the best bands kind of just start out of circumstance like that. Just out of like situational, like, hey, want to start a band? Sure, you know, and then it develops into this like really cool thing.
Yep.
That's how my band started. It was like a joke at first. We were just like, sure, you know, let's see what we can do, and then it turned into like getting signed and like
Yeah.
all this shit, and we were like, fuck, like this was like a joke at first.
Oh, my first band, I remember none of us could play, and we were so serious, you
Yeah.
know, so serious, because my first band was a metal band too.
Right. Well, it's easy music to play. It's aggressive. It's fun to play. You know.
Yeah, I still love it. Now that I don't, well, obviously.
I see your shirt, the Camel
Yeah.
Corpse.
I still love it, and I think it's that thing where it's like, I was playing in a hard rock band, and, you know, the band, after I got back, reformed, and we started playing shows again. But for the longest time, I was playing, like, really aggressive music, and so I think it's that sort of life juxtaposition where you are so surrounded by this certain style of music so much that you almost get tired of it, or just get tired of hearing it so much.
Sure.
So that's why I even gravitated more towards the like low key, you know, kind of acoustic thing, was because, man, I was listening to like grindcore and death metal, and it's like, where do you go past that? You know what I mean? It's just the gnarliest shit you can get into.
Yeah. There's no up from there.
Yeah.
You're already at 100.
So I'd sort of, it was like a, you know, devolving a little bit, where like I'd, you know, just started listening to all these like classic guys. I love Tom Petty and stuff like that. And so got into that. And when I moved to Austin, I didn't have a band or anything at that point. And so, you know, the only way for me to sort of get wrapped up in the community was to just play shows on my own, you know, acoustic. And so, I mean, I had never played acoustic shows until I moved to Austin. I mean, it was a brand new thing for me.
That's got to be kind of nerve-wracking.
So it was, yeah.
bet,
At
dude.
that point, it was, and just not knowing anybody, and
You can't hide behind your guitar anymore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you can't really turn it up and
yeah,
hide behind it.
yeah. But you know, that sort of adversity makes you, you know, I think a little bit better at it, and a little bit better at it over time. But it is funny, like now I'm wrapped up in this world of like singer-songwriters, so it's like I feel like all I listen to is just the gnarliest music again. You know what I mean? I'm right back to it.
Just
Same
have that yin and yang, right?
Yeah, same stuff I was listening to, you know, when I was a kid. And I mean, that's what I'd say the most consistently is like 80s and 90s punk and hardcore punk and, you know, thrash and death
Hell
metal.
yeah.
Like, I love that.
What's some punk bands you like, dude?
Dude, I love Black Flag.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, big fan. There's a sticker on the back of my truck, and it's the only sticker I have on my truck, and it's of Black Flag. Yeah. And so it's, you know, it's a conversation
Dude,
starter for sure.
I read a meme that or I saw a meme rather that it said that Black Flag and Misfits tattoos are just live, laugh, love tattoos for older men.
It's true.
Bro, look.
Yeah.
Misfits right there.
Dude. So, you know that Step Brothers when he's like, did we just become best friends?
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude. I laughed real hard at that one. It's so spot on.
Yeah. Consider that hijacked. I'm going to start telling people
Hell yeah,
that.
dude. Man, do you want to play us out with something, or you want to play something, or
Yeah, I can do something.
show off your guitar, or whatever you want to do, man. I'm not pressuring you anything.
Let's see. I don't know what to do.
Got the Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I bumped that mic. That's going to totally be very apparent.
Oh, that's a pretty one. Dude, my acoustic broke at the headstock right here all the way across. I haven't got a new one since.
Oh, yeah?
It's been hurting.
If you, a lot of the times when you get them fixed like that, though, they're stronger than they were.
Really? Mm-hmm. Because it's not broke all the way. Like it's still. I'll show it to you. But it's still intact. You could glue it back.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I'm not a luthier. You know?
Yeah. I would say do it, especially if it's one that you love.
Oh yeah. It's yeah.
I would definitely do it. I've got a Gibson 335, and I love that guitar, and the headstock broke off on it as well. But it's a 2010, and as long as you get the right person to do it, I mean, it's definitely way sturdier. I mean, that's kind of a main.
I'll look into that because I've just been thinking like, damn, I'm just gonna have to get a new one. You know?
No, and it'll hold better because I mean, Gibsons especially are notorious for headstocks.
Really?
Off. Yeah.
Mine's a Fender, and it just snapped. It
Man,
fell over one day, and it just.
Yeah. Then you are very unlucky because usually those things you can just toss them down a flight of stairs and they're good. Mm-hmm. I mean, my favorite guitar in the world is like the 70s Telecaster Deluxes. I don't know if you've seen those.
Oh yeah, I see that black one with like the black and silver one that you play. That one's pretty.
Yeah, I love those Tele Deluxes, just because they've got those wide range pickups from the 70s. Mm-hmm. Just nothing sounds like those, and I love them. And they're just built like tanks.
Oh yeah.
So like.
Solid.
Yeah, I can bring it places and not really worry too much about it.
That's how I feel about my Strat, dude. It's just a fucking tank. Like,
yeah,
big old solid body. If it falls down, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll do something slightly depressing.
Whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah. This was a buddy of mine. The song's about a buddy of mine. And this has been a really strange year. You were talking about that year that a bunch of musicians passed away. Sure. It's sort of been that year for me, but it was just like a bunch of friends, you know. So
shit, I'm sorry, dude.
Weird year. But a buddy of mine passed away earlier this year, and it was an intentional thing on his end, you know, sort of opted for it. But it was a bit of a mind fuck, you know, as you can imagine.
Yeah, right.
So that's what this song is about. Terrible song to leave with, but for whatever reason.
No, I love the emotion, dude. Trust me, I love the emotion. I'd rather have you spill your guts out than give me something half-assed, you know.
Well, cool. If I'm singing loud, do I need to kind of be off this thing?
I think you'll be all right. We'll just pull it back a little bit.
All right, let's see if we can do this. So now I still got to read the words.
That's cool, dude. Do your thing, man.
Can't you see that I'm breaking down at the seams, banging on a door that turned out to be a wall? There are many times that I've had my reasons. Sometimes the reason is no reason here at all. They say that the sun rise in the morning, clouds will part overhead, and joy comes in the morning, but for some of us it doesn't, some of us it doesn't. Many of us think we've got all the answers. Life's bitter ends in dark rooms, but the only fix that I am aware of is love, patience, and truth. They say that the sun will rise in the morning, the clouds will part overhead, and joy comes in the morning. Some of us it doesn't, some of us it doesn't. Keep moving on down the line. Bury the feeling, eat us inside. They say that the sun's gonna rise in the morning, clouds will part overhead, joy comes in the morning, but some of us it doesn't. Some of us it doesn't.
That was beautiful, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was great. I really like that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a downer.
I'm such a guitar nerd, dude. I'm sitting there watching your fingerings the whole time, like seeing how you play it.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, man, that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Hey, guys, y'all be sure y'all like, follow Brandon, all that shit. Check out his band. Make sure subscribe to our channel and all that shit. And y'all be you, and we're gonna be us. Later, guys.
If you'd like to see raw, unedited, live episodes, follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/whatsupwiththat. To watch full episodes of What's Up With That, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/whatsupwiththat.
Joy comes in the morning. Some of us it doesn't.